What's up, everybody? It's Heidi Fang here with Sam Gordon, our Review Journal sports columnist, and we're going to break down what to expect from the Raiders training camp. July 18th, rookies report. On the 20th, the veterans. We're going to get a look here, Sam, real soon at what this Raiders team could look like.
Yeah, Heidi, and I think the first thing I'm curious to see when you talk about the Raiders is what is that offensive line going to look like? What combinations are we going to see, and what ultimately are they going to settle into? I think every other area of the roster, I think you kind of know what you're going to have. But when you talk about that offensive line, even in minicamp, it seemed like there wasn't a five-person unit that they really sat on or they really got comfortable with. So I think that's a storyline we definitely want to monitor throughout the course of training camp. How stable is that offensive line going to be in front of Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, and with the receivers, of course, on the periphery?
I definitely think all eyes for Raider fans and for us as well will be on that offensive line, particularly Alex Leatherwood. I'm looking to see as well what happens when Denzel Good returns. I'm also looking forward to seeing what happens with the cornerbacks because Trayvon Mullen really didn't play a full season. Sam, what do you think about the secondary and how much attention will you be paying towards that?
Yeah, that's a great point, Heidi. Like you mentioned, he was hurt most of the last season in the midst of what was, I thought, a good year where you saw some improvement there from Trayvon Mullen. And then, of course, an off-season surgery, which what are we going to see when he comes into training camp? I think when you talk about the defensive side of the ball, the secondary is an area, if you had to pick, where there are probably a couple question marks, but they did add Rock Yassin, Anthony Averett. There's some veterans in that secondary now. Of course, Nate Hobbs, one of the best defensive rookies in all of the NFL last year. I'm curious to see how he gets deployed in Patrick Graham's new scheme. So, yeah, I think there's definitely some natural questions with the defensive backs in general and just with Patrick Graham in general. But given his track record, what he was able to accomplish in New York, I think you're going to see him find or settle in sooner rather than later on a defense that works for him and with the Raiders in general.
What is the final thing, Sam, that you have on your mind as you look ahead to the training camp? What are you going to be paying attention to?
I think the offense, Heidi. I think just in general, it's time to stop talking about this offense on paper. And when training camp starts, we're going to see what it's like in practice, quite literally. Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, of course, Mac Hollins, Demarcus Robinson, complimentary speed receivers. This, to me, if they are able to stabilize the offensive line, has the potential to be a top 5, 6, 7 offense in the NFL. And also, to complement the passing offense, what is that running back position going to look like? Are we going to see Josh Jacobs be the focal point back there, or is it going to be more of a rotation because they did add depth behind him? So that, to me, I mean, when you see the moves the Raiders made in the offseason, they kind of went all in on the offensive side of the ball. They want to outscore some teams. We're going to finally see what that looks like on the field, 11-on-11 in training camp, and I cannot wait.
No, I can't wait for it. And I'm just going to throw this out there before we wrap things up. And we will get into everything. So you have to follow along with VegasNation.com, all the things that we put in print as well. But Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, can't wait to see what that tandem looks like, man.
No, I can't either. I think when we heard Chandler Jones talk about why he came to the Raiders in the offseason, one of the reasons was to play with a guy like Max Crosby, who proved to be one of the most disruptive defenders in the NFL last season. I think with Chandler Jones on the perimeter, whether that's him standing up, whether that's him occasionally lining up with his hand in the dirt, came here to wreak some havoc. And you have the potential, again, with the versatility in Patrick Graham's defense. What kind of rotation are we going to see? We're going to find out. But if those two guys are firing on all cylinders, it has the chance to be a really disruptive pass rush, Heidi, which, of course, helps that secondary out on the back end. Defense, of course, working together. So we'll see what that looks like. Very excited. Training camp underway soon, and we will be out there with everything you can imagine.
And cooling towels and lots of hats. So keep tuned to VegasNation.com as well as LVRJ.com. He's Sam Gordon. I'm Heidi Fang. Thank you for watching.